Well, usually we have three big things to know, but it's a series of updates that I want to make sure that we pass along. Let's start with the weather on this Wednesday. Starting to wear the extra layers now. It's like you find new clothing in your closet this time of the year, as the winds will be the big story today. Action News Jack's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, tracking gusty winds out of the north and northeast off the Atlantic. Even though the water is warmer in the 70s, it's still going to feel quite blustery everywhere. We're going to get out of the 60s today. If you're watching this and you're not from Florida at all, you're like, out of the 60s, what are you talking about? It's actually below normal. Our average high this time of the year is in the middle 70s, give or take. And we'll actually start a warming trend gradually by Thursday and into the weekend, with the winds off the Atlantic, a little bit more humidity too, but nothing terribly uncomfortable, at least like what we had the last several weeks, where we were breaking records left and right pretty much. So breaking news out of Jacksonville's west side that we're still working to unpack throughout the day. Deadly encounter involving 4 Jacksonville sheriff's officers and 3 men in a vehicle that they had pulled over at Cassett and San Juan just before 11 o'clock last night for what appears to be a pretty routine traffic violation. Officers say that a passenger in the front seat became agitated. They tried multiple minutes or so to de-escalate the situation, but ultimately 4 of those officers opened fire and killed the man. They did say that they found a gun in the passenger side as well, and so that's a new piece of evidence that's come up, and we'll continue to bring you new information as that story unfolds. We're also on scene of a developing situation in St. Augustine during the late night hours as another deadly encounter involving law enforcement, this time St. Augustine Police and St. Johns County Sheriff's officers, involving an intoxicated man who was armed as well. That story will unfold throughout the course of the day. And even more violence in Clay County, Green Cove Springs, where one person believed to be a juvenile has died, 2 other people injured in a triple shooting that happened about 6 o'clock or so on Tuesday evening. All the while, the breaking news that's coming in You Decide 2020 comes in the way of another tweet from President Trump as he fires one of the top election officials who had been debunking a lot of the conspiracy theories that have been perpetrated out in social media and on talk radio and elsewhere over the last couple of weeks since the election. As this guy was let go by the president on Twitter, he had been pretty adamant that there was no widespread fraud, rigged election, or anything like that. It's a story that Jamie Dupree continues to follow, as Jamie is still following the latest developments that are continuing to come out of Pennsylvania with more court losses for the Trump reelection campaign. There's a lot to still bring your way. Be listening to 104.5 FM for updates on all of these stories and any new stories that break through the day. And stay up to date throughout the end of the week as we turn into the weekend before Thanksgiving. The 5-day first alert forecast. We update it 4 times every hour during Jacksonville's morning news. Stay safe.